Some of the first steps we do in that procedure, the insulation was very bad and moldy and fungus growth. We had to remove the insulation. After the insulation has been removed, we physically go in there and clean each and every floor joist on all three sides of the floor joist. We clean that with a cleaner, wipe it down, and then it gets a treating solution for fungus growth in the future. After that is done, then we look at starting the encapsulation process after the drain system has been installed. The drain system we installed for Mr. Burns is, it basically goes around the perimeter of the crawl space. The drain system goes beside the footer and travels to the sump pump in the lowest corner of the crawl, and then all of that is covered up with gravel so the water will flow to the sump pump accordingly. As we dig the ditch, the crawl space drain system is graded toward the sump pump. Before the encapsulation started, you lay down a felt type paper that goes down, and that kind of keeps from the puncturing of the vapor liner. It's a good protectant of the ground. Yes, we use a double-sided tape on the top of the wall about 3 or 4 inches down from the top of the block, and then once the double-sided tape is installed, then you cut your wall panels accordingly to size, preferably outside because it's easier to work with inside the crawl space, and you adhere that to the block at the top, and it goes down to the floor of the crawl space, out into the floor just a little bit, and then you use the push-in style anchors to anchor that vapor liner to the wall, and then once all that is done around the perimeter of the crawl space, the floor liner will be put down and maybe approximately 6 or 8 inches or so up the wall and taped to that liner from the floor. We stop the vapor liner up the wall about 3 or 4 inches from the top. That physically gives us a view for the termite inspection later on. Your last step of the vapor barrier will be on the floor, overlaying the edges up on the edge and also taping around the columns. And then be sure the crawl space door does have a good tight weather stripping seal on the crawl space door for a good tight seal, and all your vents should be closed off upon the installation of the dehumidifier. The dehumidifier will be installed at the very last thing. Once the vapor barrier is down on the ground, then you come in and put the dehumidifier on top of the vapor liner and do all your proper plumbing and the electrical for that. Depending on each crawl space, the dehumidifier does blow air out both sides of the dehumidifier. Therefore, locating that dehumidifier where it can get great air circulation around ductwork, around piers and columns and what have you, any other obstructions that may be in the way, that we basically try our best to go toward the center of the crawl space if possible for air circulation.